Okay, I sent a picture with my dad and mom, for fans like you, but it wasn't uploaded here, so sorry about that. I don't know if you can.
There's one more of it coming. Hold on, please.
Very good morning to all of you, and let me begin with thanking everybody involved with Nidhi Foundation, and a special hi to Anita ma'am, and then I think Ms. Yashaswini Raju also is on her way, and she has been my lecturer at the Spastics while I was specializing in autism. So it feels great to be amongst people who have mentored me, and Anita has been Haider, that was my son Haider, performing at the WAD conference. The show happened in April at the Cubbon Park. So he is 19 at the moment, yes, a big boy now, and there's a special connection that I share with Savita, because she was his first special educator, who started off, who gave him the base and me the confidence that yes, he can be amongst one of us, basically, which is a very, very big cliche thing that all parents wish for. Yes, so this was in 2011-13 that Haider was in Kara for kids. Which was based in Indranagar, and that's where Savita was heading the special ed back then. And my journey with Heather in India started with Kara and Savita. So ever grateful, thank you. So, and she's holding my little 9-month-old. So I got her here, and I actually accepted Savita's invitation to actually give you all a hope that don't be fearful of producing siblings or providing a sibling to your special one. I know this has been a question and a lot of unanswered question in many of your minds, whether we should give a sibling to the special one. And I would say yes, 100% and more. Get the fear out, and it'll do wonders. Because it doesn't have to be that your second one also is going to be on the spectrum or special in any which way, but it would help the special child in more than numerous ways, because I have another toddler also, Hamza, who's 6 years old now, and Hamza was my goal for Haider. Haider was on the spectrum. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, but I have to talk about the journey, and whatever strikes me, I'm going to be talking about, because I know the parent here would relate somewhere down the line to something or the other. So Haider was born in the US, and he lost his dad when he was 3.8 years. Now, I would like to say this because I would also like to show you all the journey that yes, single parents can do it too. And by God's grace, God has been kind to me that I got married to Rizwan about 10 years ago, and I had Hamza and Hiba after Haider. But the journey of 6 years without Haider's dad was was an interesting one, was a challenging one, and made me come out stronger in a lot of ways. I had the support of my parents. They were clueless about what autism was. 19 years ago, 15, 16 years ago, autism was a question mark in India. Not that, no smartphones. We didn't have awareness, we didn't have parents group which we were aware of, very few schools, very few therapy centers, very few special educators. We didn't even know RCI existed. So at that particular time, it was very difficult to actually make a pathway for Haider, because I was going through a double whammy of losing a spouse and at the same time Haider getting diagnosed with special needs. He was on the autism spectrum, PDD, NOS specific. So at that particular time, I was the sole decider because my parents were clueless more than me. So, but they supported me and trusted my decision of what I was planning for Haider. And then at that particular time, Kara happened, and and there were very few schools that included our children, by the way, very few special schools. And it was like literally shopping. It was not window shopping, but physically shopping for schools. So what next? Because Kara did real good to him, and I would also like to tell you that, you know, it was a very difficult beginning to first enroll the child into a school, trust the school which was handling him, because this is I think, the biggest factor that plays on all the parents' minds, trusting the school, trusting the authority that you're giving your child into, because the parents know the child the best. Not necessarily that, you know, the authorities, hello ma'am. So, not necessarily that the authority knows your child as well as you are. So, and then the transparency issue also comes into play, you know, of the authority reporting to you of what is actually happening to the child and getting your confidence. Now here I talk to you as a special educator and a parent, and I've seen both sides of the coin. So that's why I always harp upon centers and special educators to keep the approach very open, approachable and transparent. You have to gain the confidence of the parents, and of course there have to be boundaries of where they need to stand and not intrude in your approach, because the children do best with authorities. Sometimes the parents are taken for granted. At this, I would like to quote an example of, you know, the beginning years of Haider at Kara. We started off with one-on-one sessions with Haider to see how he adapts to it. He was about 5, 6 years old then, and he had certain issues of head banging and self-harm. At that particular time, I had to trust Savita and her team of handling Haider and give them the space and the time to show and see results. I would be sitting in the car below Kara's building and hear him cry and cry together in the car, and at the end of the session, you know, we would kind of give him some more time, okay, another week of one-on-one. And then finally we tried the group session with him of how he does better, if he does better with the children around, and which actually helped him. He actually was fine with peers, with, you know, doing things together. So that kind of worked out. So over here I'm giving you this example to try out everything, push your boundaries, give some time, be consistent, and then see what works best. Okay, if it doesn't, you move on, because you don't know the potential of the child. But you have to believe in the potential of the child. You have to give him time. And yes, do your bit and leave the rest, I would say. So that was Haider's journey to start with, and it did wonders to him. And then after Kara, I had to shop for schools where he could get in. Now what you see of Haider is a long journey, and, you know, he's a confident young man singing and it's like owning the stage and performing. He has his YouTube channel now, and he's come a long way. But again, every child is different. Every child's challenges are different. So I wouldn't say what worked for Heather works for your child. But in special needs or in autism specific, you have the same kind of common deficits of communication issues or social issues, the deficit of skills, social skills. So, which is a circle, you all know that. So, I would say concentrate on the strengths of your child, because I believe that if some strength of your child is taken away, another strength has been replaced by the Almighty. It is, and personally, the trust in the Almighty, I'm sure everybody believes in God here. So it's the trust in the superpower, because you have plans for your child, but something else turns out to be, and it's not in your control. So, and you would see the special connect of the child, of each special child, with the superpower above, in some way or the other. At this, I would like to quote another incident of Heather and me. I was planning to take back Heather to the US to get him better facilities, infrastructure, and special education and help when he was 6 years old. I tried to go into San Francisco and via Hong Kong. I was stranded in Hong Kong for 3 long days, 62 hours, offloaded thrice in the airplane, only because Heather refused to get into the aircraft. And I was not knowing the crux of autism and the communication delays, and because I had still not specialized in autism. So at that particular time, I said, see, I told myself, I'm going for a purpose, but it is not happening. So there should be some other thing in store for my child that is stopping me right here. So after 3 offloadings, the airport authority said, and this was around the time of 9/11. So it was very funny that the airport authority, the Cathay Pacific staff and crew said, no, he's a threat to our airplane. So I said, okay, fine. I mean, I have no control over your thinkings. So then the option was, my dad flew into Hong Kong with my brother. And we said the only option is, and they said another flight, last flight, and we can't do anything, we cannot help you, you find your way. Okay, so it was, bundle of nerves, and then we went to the pediatrician then and got him sedation drops, which would put him to sleep for some time. I, being an anxious mom, gave him a double dose. I don't want Mrs. Yashaswini to hear this. So he slept through. By God's grace, he slept through the flight, but we took a flight back to Bangalore from Hong Kong. I did not go to SFO. And when Bangalore happened, Heather opened his eyes as if nothing happened. He was a happy kid. So, and I said, maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's a reason, because a lot of people ask me, why don't you get back to the US and get him help, you have so much there. But me living in both the sides of the world, I would say, India did good to him because of the social infrastructure that we have here. The tolerance levels are much higher here. The child is not labeled immediately, and there are not restrictions, and they don't go by the theory everywhere in every step of your child's life. So, quoting that, over there, there's very little socialization unless you go out to the parks or to the community centers or, for weddings or get-togethers or anything of that sort. Over here, it's like New Year's and Christmas every day. You have people coming in, people going out, And here, I would like to say that expose your child to every situation that you are in. Expose, whether you're going to a birthday party, or whether you're going to a restaurant, a religious function, anywhere, take him or her along. Because unless you expose a child, how would he know how to react? How would he know to hold a spoon and a fork at a restaurant? He wouldn't unless you expose him. Even there might be tantrums, there might be behavior issues at the first time, But it's always nice to prepare the child where he's going to, say if it's a restaurant, KFC or a McDonald's. Show him where you're going, like a picture of McDonald's, what's the seating like, how many people are going to be there. Prepare the child because he's clueless of what you're going to be throwing at him, especially the younger years that the parents are dealing with. So expose the child, because I did that with Heather, and I said no, he has to come along everywhere, no matter how many strange eyes I got, the looks that I get, or the question marks that I get, the questions that I get from people. That's fine, I'm ready to answer it. He's special in a lot of ways. Don't we have tantrums? Don't we have anger? Don't we have choices? We do, right? Same way our kids also have choices. They have preferences. It's just a matter of we discovering it, because they don't know how to express it. Maybe some kids do, some kids don't. So it's a matter of you getting it out from the child, whether it's his likes, dislikes, preferences, academics, anything. It's just a matter of working another way around to get it out from the child. A child may be non-verbal, but there are so many other ways to get his expressions out, rather than expecting him to speak. That doesn't mean nothing's going inside. A lot is going inside. It's just a matter of you learning how to get that out in front of you. So Heather again was having very few words when he was diagnosed, and but he could sing any song in the world that he would listen to. Lyrics, thousands of songs, spiritual hymns, Hollywood, Bollywood, anything he would just hear and pick it up. Flash memory, but he wouldn't pick up a conversation with you and me. So it would be need-based, that pointing fingers to begin with, and pointing at things and holding hands, but later pumped in vocabulary, and with different people. He, like weekends was with my parents, my grandparents, his grandparents. So I had to get him rolling into a system where he would also be ready for a change. You have to prepare your child, because our children are not very easily adaptable to change, especially sudden changes. So preparation is the key, as you all must be knowing. But also give them their space. If it's something that you can avoid, just let them be. But if it's something that you cannot avoid, you want the child to be around, prepare him in, get him into it. Like Heather was hypersensitive to